both you and Sagaya Mary. And I agree 100% with what both of you said. However, I did not understand a single word of what you said. Can you hear me well?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, very good. This is a special session for Double Diamonds, Paul Raj and Sagaya Mary and their India team. And we just want to welcome you folk to this conference and just want to wish you a happy new year. As you know, the Amway New Year started September the 1st. Now, I'm going to be recognizing all of your big pins. And I got a list of those pins from Paul Raj, and it would take at least a half an hour to recognize them. So what I'm going to do is we will do the talk first, and then at the end, we will recognize all of the new pins. Our topic is, we all speak our future into existence. And as a subtopic, how to create 100 new platinums in the Paul Raj and Sagaya Mary team this fiscal year. So we're going to tell you exactly how to become a platinum if you're not a platinum yet. And if you are a platinum, we're going to encourage you to set a goal to create at least one or more new platinums. So we will be giving you the details of what to do and how to do it. I'd like to start out by relating a trip that I had to India. I wanted to go to India. And what I did was to call one of my friends from India who had been there recently. And I said to him, I said, Mervyn, I said, I want to go to India. Would you tell me what I need to do to go to India? And he said, it's no problem. He said, I will give you the name of a travel agent and her telephone number, and you call her and tell her that you want to go to India, and she will purchase a ticket for you. So that's exactly what I did. I called her, I purchased a ticket from the United States to India, and when it was time to travel, I went to the airport and I got on the airplane, and it was a big airplane. It was what we call a Boeing 777. It takes about 300 passengers. And I was traveling first class, so I was sitting up front, and people started coming in. And more and more people came in. And I said to myself, I said, this plane will never get off the ground with 300 people. Each one with their luggage that they carry on is probably about 200 pounds. And then in addition to that, they have luggage. But my friend told me that the plane would fly, so I believed him. This is very important what I'm saying. When it was time to leave the United States, the pilot came on and he made an announcement. He said, we will be flying to India. It's going to take about 10 hours. We'll be flying at about over 600 miles an hour. And he said, you need to listen to the flight attendants because they will tell you exactly what to do. So after we took off, the flight attendant came walking down the aisle, and I stopped her and I said to her, I said, what do I need to do? She said, you need to do 4 things. Number 1, sit in your seat and don't walk around unless you need to. Number 2, I was reading the book Think and Grow Rich. She said, you continue reading so that you don't get bored. Number 3, she said, you are in first class and your seat is adjustable. It will lay flat, so when you get tired, just lay back, flat, and go to sleep. And number 4, we'll be feeding you a lot of delicious food, so make sure you're ready to eat a lot. So those are the 4 things that you need to do in order to get to India. Just sit in your seat, read your book. When you get tired, lie down and sleep. And number 4, eat. I knew exactly what I need to do in order to get to India. What I'd like to do is to share with you what Bill Britt taught me. Let's see if I can get these slides to okay, do you have a new slide, Matthew? Do you have a new slide? Just lift your hands. Can you hear me, Matthew?
Yes, we can see the next.
Very good. What I want you to do this morning, I guess it's evening for you, I want you to open your minds, because your mind is like a parachute. It only works if it's open. So make sure that you keep an open mind during this talk. And again, our topic is, we all speak our future into existence. See, God has created universal laws. These are the laws that Bill Britt used to become a diamond and a double diamond and all the way up to crown ambassador. And it's the same laws that I used to become a diamond. Now, as you probably know, Bill Britt was without question the #1, the most successful Amway distributor in the world. And he was my mentor. So I found out from him exactly what I needed to do to become a diamond. And he told me, he said, Hal, he said, if you will simply do these 9 core steps, you will become a millionaire. I did not believe him, but he was a billionaire, very rich, and I was not rich. And so I listened to him, and even though I did not believe, he believed in me. And that's an important point. You may not believe that you can become a platinum this year. However, your upline believes in you until you can believe in yourself. So he told me what to do, and I did it, and God blessed me, and I became a millionaire. And what I want to tell you today is that we're going to tell you what you need to do and how you need to do it. And if you choose to do it, there is absolutely no question that you will be a platinum this year. And if you're not a platinum this year, it's going to be your fault. It's going to be because you're not willing to pay the price. And it's going to take some work. It's going to take a lot of work. But believe me, it's worth it. And for those of you folk who are not platinums yet, what I want you to do before you leave the meeting, I want you to go to your upline, whether it be your upline platinum or emerald or diamond, and commit yourselves to becoming a platinum this year. So I'm going to tell you the secrets that Bill Britt used to become the #1 Amway distributor in the world. And it's the same secrets that I used because I learned it from him. It's the same secrets that I used to become a diamond. And it's the same secrets that the Gala organization, which are mostly Asian Indians, it's the same secret that they used. So God has created universal laws to govern the universe. An example is the law of gravity. And these laws are absolute. Now, you can't see, but I have in my hand, this is a pen. You can probably see the pen that I have in my hand. If I were to drop this pen 1,000,000 times, every time I drop it, it would fall. Why? Because of the law of gravity, and that is an absolute law. There are no exceptions to it. So physical laws are absolute laws. What I want you to appreciate is that there are also spiritual laws. These are also absolute laws. They cannot be changed. You can violate them, but you can't change them. By the way, it's interesting that we had our summer conference. We had 2 big summer conferences. There were Zoom conferences. One of them was about a month ago, and that was for what we call the cowboys, the people from the United States. And then about 2 weeks later, Cantegala organization, those are mostly Asian Indians, they had their summer conference. And I attended both of them. And as I listened to the Asian Indians do teaching, I just had to smile because the teaching that they were doing is what they learned from Bill Britt. And there were a lot of those principles come from the Bible, but the Asian Indians have accepted them and they use them for success. So, spiritual laws are also absolute laws. They can never be changed. One example is that God never does anything without speaking it first. See, God achieves, he executes, he implements his creative power through the spoken word. Now, I'm going to be quoting a lot from the Bible. I was in Mumbai a few years ago, and I gave a talk with some of this information, and I spoke a lot about what's in the Bible. And when I got through speaking, Dr. Ram, who is a very successful physician in Mumbai, he's also a very successful Amway distributor, he came up to me and he said, Hal, he said, just about all of those laws, those principles that you were talking about can also be found in the Indian Bible, the Gita. And he went out and he bought a copy of the Gita and gave it to me. And see, I have in my hand, I don't know if you can read it, but this is the Gita. Okay, and I have it here on my desk. And believe me, there's a lot of wisdom in this book. I would encourage you, if you're a Hindu, I would encourage you to make sure you read it because there's a lot of wisdom here. And there's some endorsements on the back of it from Henry David Thoreau and Ralph Waldo Emerson. Those were great philosophers in the United States. Also, there's an endorsement from Mahatma Gandhi. And he says, when doubts haunt me, when disappointments stare me in the face, and I see not one ray of hope on the horizon, I turn to the Gita, and I find a verse to comfort me. And I immediately begin to smile in the midst of overwhelming sorrow and challenges. So most of what I'll be referencing the Bible because I'm a Christian and that's what I read. I read the Bible. And so I'll be quoting from the Bible, but just remember that this information can also be found in the Gita. Now, I have not read the Quran, but as you folk know, the father of the Jewish nation is Abraham. And the father of the Christian religion is also Abraham. And the father of the Muslims is also Abraham. So I would not be surprised if a lot of this information is also found in the Quran. But as I mentioned, I haven't read it there, but I have read it in the Gita. So God's creative power is in the spoken word. And in my Bible, the first chapter of Genesis, that's the first book, it says that God spoke and he said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And in that chapter, this is God creating planet Earth. And during that first chapter, it looks like about 12 to 15 places where it says, and then God spoke, and then God spoke, and then God spoke. God spoke. God spoke planet Earth into existence. When Jesus was here on the earth, he followed his Father in heaven. He also spoke his future into existence. You'll see it says that Jesus spoke and he cursed the fig tree. And then Jesus spoke on another occasion and he calmed the wind and the sea. On another occasion, it says Jesus spoke and he cast out demons. On another occasion, it says Jesus spoke and he raised Lazarus from the dead. Jesus did exactly what his Father did. He spoke his future into existence. And if you want to succeed in anything in life, you have got to learn to speak your future into existence. My computer isn't collaborating with me. Okay. The power of life and death is in the tongue, in your words, because you speak your future into existence. I've heard Bill Britt say hundreds of times, and it's interesting, the Asian Indians who are diamonds, I've heard them say this also many, many times. Thou art snared with the words of thy mouth. See, your tongue is like the rudder of a ship. It controls the direction of your life. We have a book which is entitled, You Are Hung by Your Tongue. Your spoken words will program your subconscious to either success or to failure. That comes from the book Think and Grow Rich. And I know that that book is available over in India. I would encourage you to get a copy of that book and read it. I've read that book at least 15 times, and I still read it occasionally, and I'm still learning from it. Speak faith-filled words, positive words. I'm going to try to teach you how to speak. Speaking faith-filled words, positive words will empower you. Speaking fear-filled words, negative words, will defeat you. And now, as we'll talk in just a few minutes, a lot of people speak negative words and commit themselves to poverty and to failure. See, faith or belief is the most powerful force in the universe. And your faith is activated by your spoken words. That's what God did. That's what his son did, Jesus. And that's what you need to do. That's what I do. Jesus said that if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. He doesn't say some things are possible. He says all things are possible to him that believeth, but you got to believe. Jesus also said, if you got faith or belief nothing shall be impossible unto you. And he also said, if you will believe, you can have whatever you say. So if you believe, all things are possible. And if you believe, nothing is impossible. And if you believe, you can have what you say. You can have what you speak into existence. Jesus said, ask and it will be given to you. Note, he doesn't say ask and it may be given to you. He said ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Not that you may find, but you will find. Knock and it will be opened unto you. For everyone, not some people, everyone, that includes you and me, everyone who asks will receive, and he who seeks will find, and to him who knocks, it will be opened. Now, Earl Nightingale was the #1 sales motivator in the United States. And he speaks about this in his CD, which is entitled The Strangest Secret. We used to use CDs over here in the United States, but now they've gotten rid of CDs and they just use the computer or their cell phone. If you can get a copy of this CD, it's entitled The Strangest Secret. I would encourage you to get it. I listen to that CD every night for at least a year. And Earl Nightingale's voice is very boring. It's monotonous and boring. However, the stuff that he talks about is just powerful. And while you're asleep, your body needs to rest, but your brain never rests. And you have good stuff going into your brain while you're asleep. Now, if you cannot find a copy of that CD, The Strangest Secret, this morning I sent to Paul Raj and also to Matthew the link for that. So if you are serious about qualifying as a platinum this year, if you're going to be one of those 100 new platinums this year in Paul Raj organization, make sure you go to him and get that information. #2, on that email, which I sent to Paul Raj and Matthew, is a summary of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon. Now, don't just be satisfied with that. Get a copy of that book. You can get that book there in India. Get a copy of that book and read it, but then you listen to a summary of it every night. And believe me, that is going to be very important in programming your mind for success. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. So faith or belief is the evidence of things not seen. I have heard the Asian Indians quote that hundreds of times. Faith or belief is the evidence of things not seen. See, some people say, I will believe it when I see it. But you must believe it before you see it. You have got to believe it before you see it, or you will never see it. Why? Because everybody speaks their future into existence, whether their future be success or whether it be failure. Everybody speaks their future into success. Bill Britt used to say, if you will say it, you can have it. And if you will not say it, you will not have it. Because what you say is what you get. These are spiritual laws. These are the laws that are going to take you to platinum and emerald and diamondship. Now, You got to pay close attention to this in order to understand it. Jesus said, I have told my people that they can have whatever they say, but instead my people are saying what they have. As long as you say what you have, since you will only have what you say, that means that you will only always have what you have. You got to think about that twice. But stop saying what you have that you don't want. Start saying what you do want that you do not have. I want you to claim what you do not have that you do want, not what you do have that you do not want. Folk, this information that I'm teaching you will make you a platinum, and it will make you an emerald and a diamond, and it will make you a millionaire, just like it made me a millionaire, if you choose to apply it to your life. See, your words are your seeds, and they produce after their kind. If you plant good seeds, positive seeds, empowering seeds, you will reap a good crop. If you plant bad seeds, negative and self-limiting words, you're going to reap a bad crop. And I'm going to give you an example in just a few minutes. Here's a spiritual law. What you say is what you get. I want you to confess victory in the face of apparent defeat. I want you to confess abundance in the face of apparent lack. And I'm not going to take a lot of time to go into the story of David and Goliath. I would encourage you to go to 1 Samuel 17 and read the story. What David did was to fight a giant whose name was Goliath, who was blaspheming the Israelites and their God. And David, who was just a little shepherd boy, heard it and he got upset about it. And he went. Nobody else would challenge Goliath. He was 9 feet tall, very successful fighter. Now, this was about 3,500 years ago. But David spoke his future into existence, and with a little slingshot and a couple stones, he killed the giant. He spoke his future into existence. See, the impossible just takes a little longer to achieve. I have friends who have tore the word impossible out of their dictionary. If you look in their dictionary, you can't find the word impossible because they tore it out. They say there's no such thing as impossible. It just takes a little longer to achieve. Speak the solution, not the problem. Why? Because the facts don't count. Learn how to speak correctly. Please pay close attention to this. Here's a spiritual law. God only speaks in the present tense. God is the great I am. Give you an example. When I left Harvard Medical School, which, as you know, is the #1 medical school in the world, I went down to the National Institutes of Health, which is the #1 biomedical research institution in the world. And I did computer modeling for the first 2 years. I worked with some very complex equation, multivariate exponential models, very complex equations. This was back in the 1970s. There was not such a thing as a personal computer back in the 1970s. We had to work with mainframe computers, and there was no operating system. No operating system existed. We had to write our own programs. Now, I'm giving you here a simple equation, the equation of a straight line. Y is equal to mx plus b. Please pay close attention. When I wrote equations for the computer, in this example, I said y is equal to mx plus b. I never once said y was equal to mx plus b. Why? Because the computer does not understand the past tense. I never once said y will be equal to mx plus b. Why? Because the computer does not understand the future tense. The computer only understands the present tense. Y is equal to mx plus b. You engineers and you IT people, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So the computer is modeled after the brain of man. The brain of man is created to operate in the present tense, just like God operates in the present tense. And you have got to learn to speak in the present tense. Folks, what I'm telling you here is so incredibly important. Give an example. God said to Abraham, I have made you the father of many nations. Now, Abraham at the time was about 80 years old, and his wife Sarah, she was about 70 years old. They did not have any children. But God did not say, I'm going to make you the father of many nations. He said, I have made you the father of many nations. Why? Because God only operates in the present tense. Their firstborn, Isaac, occurred about 20 years later. So for 20 years, Abraham, his first name, by the way, was Abram, and God changed his name from Abram to Abraham. Abraham means father of many nations. Sarah's name was Sarai, and God changed it to Sarah. Sarah means mother of many nations. So for 20 years, Abraham, whenever he met someone, he said, my name is Abraham. That's like saying, I am the father of many nations, but he didn't have any children. And the same is true with Sarah. She would say, I am the mother of many nations, but she didn't have any children. But eventually, after about 20 years, they did have Isaac. What did they do? They spoke their future into existence. And you have got to learn how to speak your future into existence, because we all do, either for success or for failure. This slide says, speak what isn't as if it were. Speak what isn't as if it were. One of my platinums, his wife was not totally with the Amway business. And she came to me and she said, I don't like to hear Bill Bridge speaks, because Bill Bridge speaks what isn't as if it were. And he is lying, because it does not exist. So I went to Bill Bridge and I said, Bill, this lady says that you're lying because you speak what isn't as if it were. I said, how do you explain that? What do I tell her? Bilbridge said, you tell her that if she does not believe it, then she's lying. But if she believes it, she is simply speaking her future into existence. I hope you understood what Bilbridge was saying. Say, you got to get there in spirit before you get there in flesh. Get there in spirit before you get there in flesh. Give you an example. There was a new diamond in the United States. and he went across stage as a brand new diamond. And if you have ever been to a free enterprise day with new diamonds going across stage, as you know, they get a lot of recognition, just a lot of recognition. And so after this diamond was recognized as a brand new diamond, someone went to him and said, John, he said, what did it feel like going across stage as a brand new diamond? Please listen to this. John said, it felt no different than it did the thousands of times that I went across stage in my imagination. That statement is worth a lot to you. You got to get there in spirit before you get there in flesh. And John had gone across stage thousands of times in his imagination. And that's what took him to diamondship. And by the way, that email which I sent to Paul, Raj, and Matthew, there's a quotation from Earl Nightingale, and this is what it says. It says, whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and whatever we nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality. Say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's a powerful statement. God's unlimited power. Never measure God's unlimited power by your limited expectations. Tonight, I want you to pray a prayer. I want you to say, God, forgive us for trying to limit your power to the size of our dreams and goals. Rather, I'd like you to give us the faith and the belief to increase the size of our dreams and our goals to the size of your power. God's power is unlimited. Please never measure God's unlimited power by your limited expectations or by your limited dreams. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. That comes from Think and Grow Rich. For those of you folk who aren't platinums yet, set a goal to become a platinum this fiscal year. And if you want to conceive what a platinum looks like, just go to your upline platinum and look at him or look at her. You can conceive what they look like, but you got to believe it. Because if you do not believe it, you will never achieve it. But if you will believe it, you will achieve it. So to achieve it, you must believe it. How do you get to believe it? Now, what I'm trying to do is to tell you what you need to do, and I'm telling you how to do it. Those are the two important things. You remember when I flew to India, I wanted to know from the flight attendants what I needed to do. And for those of you folk who aren't platinums yet, I want you to learn 5 words. Go to your platinum or your emerald or your diamond, and whenever you go to there, I want you to mention these 5 words. What do I do next? What do I do next? You got to believe it. How do you get to believe it? The Bible says that faith and belief comes by hearing. I've heard Kumar say that hundreds of times. Faith and belief comes by hearing. One comes finally to believe whatever one repeats to oneself, whether the statement be true or whether the statement is false. If you repeat it to yourself, you will get to the point where you believe it. That comes from Think and Grow Rich. In my book, it's page 53. You just remember that. Whatever one repeats to oneself. Give you an example. When I became a diamond, I listened to a CD by Paul Miller. And Paul Miller said he had a long distance platinum group and it would take him several hours to drive there. And when he drove there, he would repeat to himself thousands and 10,000s of times, he would repeat to himself, I am a diamond, I'm 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 a diamond. I said to myself, if it worked for Paul Miller, it's going to work for me. Back then, I used to run about 8 miles every day. I would run about 8 miles. And during those 8 miles, I would repeat to myself, I'm a diamond, I'm a winner. I'm a diamond, I'm a winner. I'm a diamond, I'm a winner. You get finally to believe whatever you repeat to oneself. See, repetition creates actual pathways in the brain. Folk, what I'm telling you is so powerful. There is a new science called neuroplasticity. When I was a medical student, they taught us that when you were born, you had X number of brain cells and that you could not increase that number. That you could damage your brain and decrease that number, but you could not increase that number. About 20 years ago, we found out that that's totally false. That's totally false information. You can grow your brain. You can increase your brain cells. You can create actual pathways in your brain. And the way to create those pathways is repetition. And that's why I repeated to myself, I am a diamond, I'm a winner. I'm a diamond, I'm a winner. I'm a diamond, I'm a winner, tens of thousands of times. And I created a pathway in my brain that was labeled diamond. And once that pathway is created, you have won the game and you are a diamond. And stop saying, I am going to be a platinum. Stop saying, I'm going to be a platinum. Why? Because your brain doesn't understand the future tense. You got to say, I am a platinum. I am an emerald. I am a diamond. Because your brain only understands the present tense. And see, faith or belief comes more quickly when you hear yourself speaking. I wish I had time to go into the science of that. But just believe me, you can have your upline say, you are a platinum, but you believe it. You got to believe it. And the way to believe it is for you to say it, because it's much more effective when you say it. Here's a spiritual law. Jesus said, as thou hast believed, so be it unto thee. You got to believe it. And if you believe it, so be it unto you. If you believe that you are a platinum, so be it unto you. If you will not believe it, you will never be a platinum. He did not say it would only work if you believed it right, because whether you believe it right or whether you believe it wrong, the spiritual law still works. It is still a law and it will always work. So stop saying negative garbage. Stop feeding your brain negative garbage and start positive affirmations. This is an important statement. Some people destroy their future by negative speaking. They speak words of fear and words of unbelief. Give an example. I was a professor of medicine at Johns Hopkins Medical School. I went down to the hospital one night. It was cold, and there was a homeless man sitting in a board box just shivering. He was freezing to death. I felt sorry for him. I said to him, I would like to help you make some money. This was his answer. He said, Doc, he said, I am poor. My parents were poor. My children are poor. We are always going to be poor. He was speaking his future into existence, and he was absolutely right. As long as he spoke that way, he and his children and all generations would be poor. You got to stop that negative speaking. Here's another powerful statement. Some people use the words of their mouth to hold themselves in bondage, to hold themselves in poverty, to hold themselves in poor health and in failure. Just remember that. You can hold yourself in bondage and in poverty and in poor health and in failure by speaking negative garbage and programming your brain with negative garbage. What to say when you talk to yourself. There's a book with that title. Say, your spoken words program your subconscious either to success or to failure, depending on the words that you use. Because your words are like containers. They can carry faith or they can carry fear. Faith is from God. Fear is from the devil. Faith and fear cannot coexist, just like God and the devil cannot coexist. You cannot speak negative garbage and expect to succeed in life. If you speak negative garbage, you will never become a platinum. You've got to learn how to speak. You are here today, or wherever you are. I know that many of you are tuning in on Zoom. And because you're attending this, you have already won. I did not say you will win. I said you have already won. Now, before the pandemic, I used to do a lot of business building seminars. And at this point, what I would do is I would have members in the audience to stand up and repeat these positive affirmations. So if you're at home, I don't care where you are, I want you to repeat these positive affirmations. So I want you to fill in your name here. It says, my name is Hal Newball, and I want you to remember that name because I am a winner. I am a success. I am on the road to becoming wealthy. I was created by God, and He does not make any junk. When God created me, He placed within me the seeds of greatness. He gave me everything that I need to succeed. So I am on the road to success, and it will all be done to God's honor and to His glory. I am a child of God, and God is my king, so I am a prince. If you're a lady, of course, you're a princess. Princes and princesses are rich, and since I am a prince, I am rich. I am on the road to richness. That's the way it is, and if you don't believe it, just hide in the bushes and watch. I've heard Bill Britt say that hundreds of times. I love myself. You have got to learn how to love yourself. I love myself and I like myself. God told me to love my neighbors as I love myself. That means I need to love myself so that I can love my neighbors. You got to learn to love yourself, folk. You got to learn to love yourself. God made me the best, and I am the best. I am accomplishing great things in my life because God created me for greatness, and He endowed me with the seeds of greatness. And if you don't believe it, just hide in the bushes and watch. I am a winner. I am an overcomer. When I encounter obstacles, I will go around them or go over them, or go under them, or I will get a sledgehammer and smash them to pieces. For I am a winner, and there is no obstacle that can stop me from achieving success. Folk, this is what you need to say if you choose to become a platinum. This is the kind of attitude you have got to have. I am a winner. I'm a success. I am happy. I am healthy. I am wealthy. That's the way it is, period. And if you don't believe it, just hide in the bushes and watch. Because God made me the best. I am the best. That's the way it is, period. I've heard Bill Britt say that so many times. So just remember, you have got to speak your future into existence. In fact, everybody speaks their future into existence, whether it be for success or whether it be for failure. And you got one life to live, and I'd encourage you to speak your life into success rather than speaking it into failure. Well, I miss being there in Coimbatore with you. In fact, Paul Raj and Matthew sent me some pictures of the meeting that you're having. And I saw pictures of Sagaya Mary and Paul Raj and many of the diamonds. And it was like a deja vu. I remember being there, Matthew and Paul Raj. I remember being there with you folks so many times, and you were so nice to me and so kind to me. And I hope that in the near future that that Paul Raj and Sagaya Mary will invite us to come again and to be with you. Because if I were living in India, I would live in Coimbatore, because it's a beautiful, beautiful city. And I remember on one of our trips, Paula Raj and Sagaya Mary took us up to Uti, and that's such a beautiful, beautiful place. So I have great memories of my 16 trips to India. I've been to India 16 times and really enjoyed that. Okay, let's recognize some of your leaders. You have such a powerful list of leaders. I want you to know that you have the best leadership in Amway right there in Coimbatore with Paul Raj and Sagaya Mary and all of their pins. And I want to recognize some individuals. It's too bad that we can't have you stand so that we can applaud for you. And I'm trying to learn some of these Indian names, but especially you folk from the South. As you know, your names are so long and so complicated that I cannot always pronounce them well. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, New Sapphires, Jayohar and Jayanti. Congratulations, New Sapphires. By the way, a year from now, I want us to recognize those 100 new platinums in Paul Raj and Sagaya Mary's organization. And remember, before you leave, go to your upline and commit yourself to be one of those. And if you are already a platinum, you want to go to your upline and commit to your creating 1 to 2 new platinums this year. We have a lot of emeralds. Vasu Rao, Rajeshwari, Govinda, that's Govindan, and Suguna, and Tilai, and Lalitha. I'm glad I'm not in India, because you'd be laughing at me when I try to pronounce these names. But I do much better than most Americans, believe me. Tamil Selvi Murthy, Parthiban and Vanathi, Arachanin, and Selvanayaki, Srinivas and Vani, Ravichandran, Manavalan, Harikumar, and Suleika. Harikumar, I remember you from when I was there the last time. Why are you still an emerald? You should be a diamond by now. Founders Emeralds, Paramasivan, where are you? You are you're a great friend of mine. I remember visiting you. You were always so jovial and so kind to me when I was there. And I can pronounce your name. Farsama. Fars. It's not spelled correctly. And the wife's name is Devam. Kumar and Vanitha. And of course, diamonds. You've got the best diamonds in the whole world of Amway right there. Wilson and Little Flower. I remember you folk from Chennai. You were so kind to me when I was there with you the last time. And you had this group of people playing music in the street for me. I really remember that. Thank you. And then Doctors Rajendra Kumar and Dr. Kanaki, very good friends of mine. I wish I could see you. Srinivasan and Vimala, and Anand Kumar and Arthi. Manikavasagam. Now that's a long South Indian name, but I can pronounce that. Manikavasagam and Neela. I remember you folks so very well from all the major functions. Amul Raj and Reena. As you know, Amul Raj is Paul Raj's brother. He didn't have a choice. He had to become a diamond. And then Raja Gopal and Shrividya. Congratulations to all the diamonds. And of course, your uplines, double diamonds, Paul Raj and Sagaya Mary. I hope you folk appreciate the leadership that you have there in India. Paul Raj and Sagaya Mary became one of the first double diamonds. I remember when they were one of 3 double diamonds in India. And everybody in India knows who Paul Raj and Sagaya Mary are, because they are powerful leaders and have just a tremendous organization. And I just want to say a special thank you to Matthew and Rebecca Curavilla. Matthew speaks excellent English, of course, and so I like to communicate with him because I can understand him. But again, congratulations to all your new pins. We appreciate you. We respect you for what you do. And I look forward to when we can visit you in India and I can personally congratulate you. And I'm going to have my wife, Patricia, she's just going to say hello. She did not want to speak, but she'll say hello.
It is my distinct pleasure to greet you in India. Not only just persons on location, but those on the World Wide Net. If you're an IBO, a new IBO, I congratulate you because you have made the right decision and a step in the right direction. But your work has just begun. You have to pay the price if you want to be successful, be a successful IBO and achieve pins. For those persons who have achieved pins, I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate also the leaders, Matthew and Paul Raj. I've heard those names almost every day. I knew you before I saw you on the internet. And I want to congratulate you for being such great leaders and for the great team of IBOs that you have built. for those persons aspiring to be platinums, I mean, the new year has just started and this is your time. And I'm looking forward to those 100 platinums that Dr. Newball encourage you to break. Once again, I congratulate you for such a successful meeting. And I am looking forward to coming to India very, very soon. Thank you.
Okay, Matthew.
Thank you so much, Dr. Newball. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Newball. Thank you so much. We'll keep touch with you. Thank you.
You are welcome, Paul, Raj, and Matthew. And we're gonna sign off, but you folks can continue your very successful meeting. And God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. ஒரே விஷயம் அவர் பேசுறதுல முக்கிய விஷயம் பவர் ஸ்கோப் தான். என்ன வேணும் அதை பேசணும், என்ன வேணுமோ அதை பேசணும். அதான் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காரு. வேணும்